朋友们、女士们、先生们，感谢大家来到这里，一起悼念36年前在北京天安门惨案中遇难的人们，共同谴责北京当局惨无人道的暴行。我是天安门母亲成员张先玲，我今年就87岁了。我的儿子王楠就是在离天安门几十米远的南长街南口遇难，当时医院的救护车已经停在南长街的口上，但是检验部队不准许医生到长安街上救助伤员，以致王楠和另外2位平民因流血过多而死亡。即使在战争中，也不能不让救助敌方的伤员，因为那是最起码的人性。可是那次的天安门屠杀就是如此的没有人性。1989年，中国大陆刚刚开放，而贪污腐败就随之滋生，民间怨声载道。为了国家的正常发展，为了社会的公平正义，学生们和一些民众站出来为民请命，举行和平示威，要求政府健全民主法治，反对贪污，反官倒。官倒就是利用职权谋取经济利益的行为，现在就是腐败。要求政府健全民主法治，但执政者不但没有接受学生和民众的要求，反而利用国家权力调动几十万野战军，配备枪支弹药和装甲车，血腥地镇压了手无寸铁的学生和平民，造成至少上千人的死亡。这是一次政府指使下的对公民的刑事犯罪。36年过去了，政府对6次天安门惨案仍然讳莫如深，对内控制舆论，封锁消息，掩盖真相，对外就用一句这件事国家和党早就有了定论的荒谬言辞来搪塞外国记者的提问。要知道，天安门屠杀是在全世界众目睽睽之下进行的，现在网上有大量的资料和现场的照片，还有的学者用详实的材料写了数百页的实录，所以谎言是掩盖不了历史的真相。当年的刽子手已相继死去，但作为执政党的连续性，现在的政府有责任对6次惨案做出回应和处理。你们说早就有了定论，请问你们是在什么时间、什么场合、有哪些人参加的什么会议上，根据什么证据做出的结论？必须对死难者家属和伤残者有个明确的交代。天安门母亲们本着和平理性的原则，每年都向政府提出要求：第一，公布6次屠杀真相，并公布死难者名单；第二，赔偿道歉；第三，追究责任者的刑事责任。我们曾多次提出以与政府对话的形式逐步解决6次的问题，可是36年过去了，当局从未做过回应，反而用尽一切手段对天安门母亲的成员进行监视监听。我们不会被这些卑劣的手段吓倒，我们抗争了几十年，砥砺前行，就是为了为亲人们讨还公道，要为6次死难者讨还公道。维园的烛光虽然已经被狂风吹灭，但是正义的火花会在每个有良知的人们心中燃烧。我们会永远践行我们的诺言，就是说出真相，拒绝遗忘，寻求正义，呼唤良知。
Thank you so much for having me here. So first of all, I would like to thank you for coming here to commemorate the victim of June 4th. I would like to put straightly that I would like to remind the world, in particular the UK government, to be conscious and caution about the evil of the CCP. The June 4th is an evil we never expected after the Chinese government adopted an open door policy since 1978. We choose to believe that with the open door policy, it is going to become more civilized, more reasonable, and those political movements that killed more than 80 million people before 1978 will never happen again. But that figures tend to be adding up since 1978. And up to this moment, the victims of June 4 had never been having a reasonable conclusion, and they are still labeled as criminals, rioters, and anti-revolution people. We have to take care that the evil of the CCPs is never going to stop if the system remains unchanged, and that the CCP is keeping in its position to multiply all powers and tend to keep that multiply power for their own benefit. in 1989, I still remember that I was the one almost watching at TV almost day and night, hoping that some miracle could happen, and hoping that the event will be turned out to be mutually benefit to the people and the government. But that turned out to be a false expectation. And 30 years later, similar brutality had been happening in Hong Kong, with more than 2,000 people put into prison by political reason. I also know that quite a lot of young people, after being released from prison in recent years, they have been facing continual follow-up oppression. When they are walking on the street, two guys will take him away or take them away, threatening them, asking them for some information, making them unable to keep their constant employment, and making them not able to sleep at night, without having taken pills. So I'm here just a brief reminder. Let's remember the evil of the CCP and not be over-expect or what they have promised and what they have been doing to please the people around the world. Thank you so much.
大家好，我係流亡喺英國嘅香港抗爭者，我叫阿偉，我就係出生喺00年頭，咁六四事件亦都係一個好耐嘅事啦，對我嚟講，因為我又唔清楚當陣時嘅情況啦，咁亦都唔會，即係我好細個，亦都係唔會知道六四事件係發生咗啲乜嘢事啦。咁啊，到後來大個咗之後，咁我就去睇一啲嘅新聞，咁我又見到每年點解會有一班人亦都會參加六四嘅維園燭光晚會咧？哦，原來就係因為之前中國內地係真係發生咗一啲咁慘無人道嘅事件啦。咁去到反送中嘅時候，香港社會亦都存在好多嘅不公義啦。咁對我嘅影響就係其實係好大嘅，因為中國嘅民運人士亦都同香港嘅民運人士都一樣。亦都係中共用一啲好殘忍嘅手段，亦都係迫害佢哋啦，例如被自殺、被失蹤，例如中國大陸有劉曉波同李旺元，香港就有陳彥霖同周梓樂，咁呢啲事件啊就不斷咁發生咧，咁我就驅使到我繼續抗爭嘅動力啦，因為我認為就係大話講100萬次都係大話嘅，即係而家中共佢不斷咁洗白六四事件，亦都不斷去隱瞞六四事件所有嘅真相，呢樣嘢係最可恥嘅。咁我堅守公義、堅守真相、堅守真理、堅守正義，我就一定必須要繼續抗爭，必須要繼續話更加多嘅真相，俾更加多嘅人知道中共係如此咁邪惡嘅。咁我嚟到英國啦，咁我繼續去搞一啲嘅維園嘅燭光晚會啦，亦都係 support 呢度嘅港人組織啦。咁其實對我嘅意義其實都好大，因為我覺得香港人嘅力量係雖然好微嘅啦，但係我哋只要團結一致，繼續講我哋嘅真相，繼續學好啲英文嘅時候咧，我哋就可以同當地嘅人去講多啲六四事件啊，發生咗啲咩事啊，同埋香港發生咗啲咩事，等佢哋知道中共佢嘅邪惡，咁我哋先可以繼續壓止中共去做一啲好不人道嘅行為啦，咁我哋就應該要繼續阻止佢去為所欲為。鄧小平亦都講過，如果中國有一日佢走咗歪路，我哋全個世界嘅人民都要出嚟阻止佢。我哋而家係時候要掀起我哋香港人嘅社區，就要掀起全世界嘅人民一齊阻止佢，繼續做壞事。呢個就係我哋香港人嘅責任。多謝大家。
香港人喺世界各地搞集會咧都好重要嘅，即係表示香港人其實喺30年嚟啊，即係六四之後30年嚟啊，中國嘅大地上都係香港同埋台灣啦，即係紀念六四較多。咁而家香港冇咗啦，即係香港係最大嗰個紀念集會。咁既然香港冇咗啦，香港人流散咗各地，咁繼續保留呢一個記憶係非常重要咯。因為即係共產黨係好驚你哋知道六四嘅真相，同埋記住世世代代都記住六四係要平反嘅。佢無端端揸槍喺街上即係屠殺啲和平抗議嘅人民咧，本身係一個即係天下不容嘅東西。咁樣中國人要記住，英國人要記住，僑居英國嘅香港人要記住，世界嘅人都可以記住。因為即係正因為不可忘記啊，呢啲暴政先至能夠越嚟越唔敢亂嚟。仲有咧，即係佢嘅壽命都有限日子。一方面我哋嘅根喺香港啦， 咁香港裏邊以前搞悼念嘅支聯會啦，我哋支聯會係咪啊？我都無端端坐咗4個半月監，雖然都算少，但係好多人而家坐咗3年幾4年都未審啊！大佬，支聯會正副主席啊3個人啊，何俊仁、李卓人、周幸彤三個人都而家仲係喺獄中。我哋喺香港嘅嗰啲人，即係知道海外係有紀念6四嘅，冇忘呢件事嘅，而且大家喺推倒共產黨呢個暴政當中，仍然能夠即係繼續呢一分力，香港人就算走出去外國啊，仍然係記住呢啲嘢，當然唔會忘記香港自己直接受到壓迫啦。咁我哋先至會流散啦。咁即係我哋就應該同大陸嘅人係叫做大家面對同樣一個敵人，應該好好一齊早日推冧呢一個暴政。中共咧總係想我哋唔知道世界上冇發生抗議佢嘅事，一係咧就話我哋係外國代理人，真係非常之荒謬。即係支聯會係香港最知名同埋最多人支持嘅愛國團體，佢總係話我哋受外國嘅指使。我坐咗4個半月監，雖然最後喺終審庭係叫做判無罪啊，咁但係都無端端坐4個半月監。仲有支聯會嘅3個正副主席都係坐緊監。我呢個案被控告嘅就係你係外國代理人，所以警方係有權要求你攞資料，你唔俾就要去坐監咁樣即係佢點都要屈支聯會係外國代理人。即係咧，中國人民、香港嘅市民其實對於中共嘅暴政係認識得好清楚，佢哋都係要反抗，但係中共咧總係冤禮你，話你係外國嘅代理人，即係咧中國人係唔會反對佢嘅，偏偏就係其實中國人係最受你壓迫，最多反對你嘅人就係中國人。我哋雖然而家旅居英國，應該自己每一年都唔好忘記呢一個慘痛嘅日子。仲要世世代代，包括同英國嘅人都對於呢一類嘅殺人如麻嘅暴政，一定要警惕，一定要永遠忘記，直到一日6四平反，佢哋嘅呢個政權再唔能夠將自己美化成一個好嘅政權。香港如果要光復嘅話，一定要針對住中共。我哋走咗都希望真係有一日翻去煲底見啦。咁呢度嘅中國人，等於中國裏邊嘅中國人都係受中國壓迫得最沉重嘅一班。我哋其實對於反對中共倒行逆施，反對佢呢一個暴政，永遠記住佢係揸機關槍上街掃射一啲和平抗議嘅人。呢一個咁樣嘅劣跡，一定要世世代代記住，係我哋中國人出於為咗中國嘅前途、中國嘅幸福嘅一種奮鬥，絕對唔係咩外國人指使做外國代理人等等。呢一種精神一定要承傳落去、繼承落去，仲要團結埋所有英國嘅人、歐洲嘅人、世界嘅人都知道佢呢個本質，唔好俾佢而家稍為有錢啦，又即係哈哈霸霸啦，以為自己好威水又好，就係大晒啦，就去膜拜佢。呢啲嘢一定要全世界人民永遠都記住。
大家好，我係 Rockingham 地區議會議員，亦都係香港前區議員吳兆康。大家好，多謝大家今日嚟。亦都好多謝今日我哋有好多跨黨派嘅議員同事嚟。Thank you to all the cross-party councillor colleagues to come today。大家俾啲掌聲佢哋。我自細由父母帶我去維園度悼念6四，去到後尾成為喺香港嘅區議員，帶街坊去維園悼念6四，去到今日同大家一齊悼念6四，其實我感受好深好深。我亦都好想英國嘅政界朋友可以同我哋一齊參與，一陣間一齊發言，一齊悼念。感受香港人呢一份堅持，呢份精神，因為我深信呢份堅持民主自由嘅精神唔係淨係香港，仲喺英國都係，所以希望佢哋可以更加認同我哋，更加支持我哋，感受到我哋嘅感受，緊張到我哋嘅緊張。例如點解我哋咁反對中國超級使館呢？又例如 BNO 政策，大家話係唔係啊？超級大使館代表咗間諜中心，示威空間被剝奪，更加代表咗中共政策嘅對中共政策嘅倒退。我哋同我哋香港人，我哋做盡能力所及嘅事。喺幾個月之內，香港人舉行咗幾次集會，上咗英國嘅主流媒體報導，更加一度逼爆倫敦塔橋附近嘅馬路。我喺集會亦都幫手發言，除此之外，亦都去聽證會，就攞住大家集會時候嗰張逼爆馬路嘅相，去同嗰啲話夠空間示威嘅官員講點樣唔夠空間法，要逼佢哋要正視嗰個錯誤。喺地區議會，我都提出咗通過，亦都通過咗反對中國超級使館嘅動議喺Rockingham議會。 議案通過一啲都唔簡單，因為我哋受到有啲黨派嘅阻攔，用議事規則規程問題去阻攔。但係最後，因為我嘅同事去支持我哋，所以我哋最後都係獲得咗通過。好多謝我多謝我嘅同事，亦都多謝大家嘅支持。通過動議係好有用嘅，因為咧我通過動議之後咧，有無論係 Rockingham 嘅報紙，抑或係 Reading 嘅報紙，去到 Batnell 嘅報紙，都有主要篇幅去大篇幅去報導。我記得報紙出咗街之後，我同我屋企人去快餐店食飯，去食早餐，有街坊過嚟，本地嘅人，去同我哋好熱情咁握手，佢話好支持我哋嘅主張，覺得香港人好堅持。我覺得香港人嘅聲音可以入到去本地人嘅屋，可以令到本地人都知道，就算我哋個議案幾辛苦都係值得。香港人加油！除咗超級試管，我哋要繼續發聲。相信最近我哋都關注 BNO 嘅問題，政府遲遲都唔肯答覆好多團體，包括我哋 LIDDEM 嘅團體嘅提問，究竟 BNO 會唔會5年變10年？呢啲唔係淨係等多幾多年嘅問題，亦都唔係淨係話大學要交多啲學費嘅問題。呢啲係講緊一個國家面對承諾嘅問題。我細路仔話俾我知道，佢哋喺學校好細個已經介紹遵守承諾係英國國家嘅價值觀核心價值一部分。所以我同本地街坊講到呢件事嘅時候，本地嘅街坊咧，佢都覺得好認同我哋，覺得要維持對香港人5+1嘅承諾，唔可以違反承諾。咁所以我哋要做嘅係咩呢？我哋要做嘅就係爭取多啲街坊，話俾多啲街坊知道英國政府做緊啲乜嘢事。要政府遵守承諾，要多啲人嘅支持。我哋會喺集會發聲，我哋會喺網上發聲，我哋會喺屋企門口剪緊草嘅時候同隔離嘅街坊發聲。記住，大家喺遇到我哋啲 councillor 議員去拍大家門口嘅時候，我哋要同佢哋講香港嘅問題，要同佢哋講嘅訴求，因為咁樣好多幫香港嘅 councillor 同埋我吳兆康就會喺議會裏邊有更加大嘅力量。拜託大家可唔可以幫手？可唔可以幫手啊？無望六四係無望六四死難者，係無望佢哋為民主嘅付出。亦都係無望大家咁多年堅持民主自由嘅精神。今日吳兆康再次多謝大家嚟，我哋集會先有力量，大家嚟，我吳兆康喺議會先有力量，大家嚟，我哋香港人喺英國先有力量。當中共喺破壞咗我哋香港嘅家園，然後想將佢嘅手繞去半個地球以外地方破壞我哋英國家園嘅時候，就等我哋同英國嘅人一齊去堅持自由、民主、公義嘅價值。We will never surrender. Let me speak something in English.Hello everyone, I'm Andy Im Siu Hong, a councillor here in Rockingham and a former district councillor in Hong Kong. Thank you all for coming here this evening. Even when whether you are from Hong Kong or UK, whether you are my colleagues in the council or protester I have met on the street, today is about our democratic values. One of the things that connects people across every place in this great country. Rockingham has a growing Hong Konger population, including myself, who have witnessed the Chinese Communist Party evil.including the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre and the 2019 crackdown in Hong Kong. We don't just care about jobs, school pays, or council tax. Many of us deeply value freedom, democracy, and human rights, and are concerned about the Chinese Communist Party growing influence in the UK. In March, Rockingham have passed a motion opposing the Chinese Super Embassy. Some of my council colleagues who voted for it, including Rockingham Council Leader Stephen Conway, who seconded my motion, are also here today. Let's give them another big round of cheers. Thank you. We are all concerned about this because it's not just about our building. It's about what it represents. Do we want overseas police station? No. Do we want a spy base? No. Do we want our country to depend on dictator? No. No matter the color of your skin, no matter where you come from, no matter which political party you support, we all don't want the UK to be put at risk. We all don't want our freedom to be harmed. We all don't want this great country, the mother of parliament, to go soft on dictatorship. Can we stand firm for our safety? Yes. Can we stand firm for democracy? Yes. Can we stand firm with Hong Kong? Yes. I believe our voices must be heard and our democratic value must be preserved. Besides, right now, Hong Kongers are watching closely as the future of BNO visa policy hangs in the balance. The UK government has yet to respond to our concern, particularly the possible that the path to permanent residency could be extended from 5 to 10 years. It is not just about waiting a few more years. It is not just about paying overseas university fee that could cost tens of thousands of pounds more. Essentially, it's about a country commitment to its promise. It's about the responsibility to protect people from a former colony who are fleeing dictatorship. We must stand with Hong Kongers. We must defend the current BNO policy that guarantees a path to settlement after 5 years. Finally, let us never forget June 4. Let us never forget the people who sacrificed for democracy. let us also never forget the spirit of Hong Kongers who have stood firm for this value for so many years. We must work together, from Reading to London, from council to parliament, on the street or on the line. Together we are strong. Together we will win. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it may be, we will never surrender. Fight for freedom!
Fight for freedom!
Fight for freedom!
Fight for freedom!
多謝大家。
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rob Comer. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Wokingham Borough, and I'm very pleased to be invited here today to represent Wokingham Borough Council at this commemoration. Those of us who were around in 1989 can recall the dreadful events that we became aware of, and indeed the entire world became aware of, so it's fitting that we remember that time and commemorate it today. I'm pleased that so many people from Hong Kong have chosen this area, and of course I speak particularly for those that have chosen the Wokingham area, in which to build new homes and new lives. We've got many Hong Kong residents nowadays, and they're very welcome, and they contribute to our society in very significant ways. Andy, as we've just heard, both speaking so eloquently and singing so well, is one of my colleague councillors on Wokingham Borough Council, and I'm sure he's not alone, and that there are many Hong Kongers, if that's the right phrase that I can use, who either are or will be contributing to our democracy in ways that they feel they no longer can in Hong Kong. Up until a few weeks ago, I was Mayor of Wokingham Town, and there, the Town Council has established a Chinese New Year specifically to acknowledge and welcome our new friends. So standing on the stage at that event, it was very notable just how many Hong Kongers we have here that have come, and we're coming there to celebrate, come from just the town and from other areas to celebrate the New Year with the other residents in that area. So I was very pleased to see so many, but I'm so sorry that the reason we have so many is the sadness where you've had to flee from your homelands and make your homes here with us. But from us, welcome. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Stephen Conway. I'm the leader of Wokingham Borough Council, and I had the pleasure of seconding Andy's motion on the Chinese Super Embassy recently. I can't begin to match Andy in terms of singing, so you'll have to, I'm afraid, just listen to me speaking, which I can assure you will be a great relief to your ears compared with me singing. We're here to honour those who, 36 years ago, made the ultimate sacrifice in the cause of freedom and democracy. The events that led to Tiananmen Square were part of a wider movement against authoritarianism and authoritarian governments. 1989 was a year of liberation in much of Central and Eastern Europe. But while it would be comforting to say that 36 years later, freedom and democracy are safe and secure, we know that is not the case. Parts of Europe, liberated from dictatorship in 1989, have slipped back into authoritarianism or are in danger of doing so. Though China now engages more with the West, its government has not truly embraced liberal values. Democracy, freedom and human rights, as we understand them, are still effectively denied. That, of course, is why Britain has welcomed Hong Kongers in recent years. We have been enriched and strengthened by our Hong Kong residents. Our gain is China's loss. Britain has a proud record, stretching back at least to the exodus of the French Protestant Huguenots in the 17th century, of acting as a haven for those fleeing oppression in their homelands. We have been, and we remain, I hope, a beacon for the oppressed, because we live in a country with constitutional checks and balances that prevent the abuse of power and protect our liberties. But even here in Britain, we need to be vigilant, as there are those who wish to undermine our tolerant and inclusive society, seek to set different parts of the community against each other, and ultimately wish to deprive others of their democratic rights and freedoms. Elsewhere in the world, protections against misrule and the loss of liberty are increasingly under pressure, even in countries with a long and proud history of constitutional safeguards. The need remains then for all good people who love freedom and democracy, not just for themselves, but for everyone, to be inspired by those who gave their lives in Tiananmen Square, and to redouble their efforts to defend the values that we all hold dear. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and it's great to see such a huge number of people here. I'm Pauline Jorgensen. I was the Conservative candidate for Early and Woodley in the general election last year, and I'm currently the Conservative parliamentary spokesperson for Early and Woodley, and I'm also leader of the Conservative group at Woking Borough Council. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak today as we remember those who lost their lives in the Beijing Tiananmen massacre 36 years ago and listen to such moving testimonies. The Conservative Party has got a proud history of standing up for people in Hong Kong. As Boris Johnson said in 2019, we support Hong Kongers every inch of the way. We have deep ties with Hong Kong and those bonds remain strong. I'm deeply concerned by the ongoing crackdowns by the Chinese government on basic freedoms and human rights in Hong Kong, including the continued imprisonment of Jimmy Lau, a British citizen, and threats against Hong Kongers in the UK, and indeed sanctions against British parliamentarians simply for speaking out. Since 2021, over 500,000 people have left Hong Kong. Thanks to the Conservative government's British National Overseas Scheme, more than 220,000 visas have been issued, and around about 150,000 Hong Kongers have made the UK home. I hope we've made you welcome. I was proud to be part of the executive team at Woking Borough Council, and we offered a safe haven to those fleeing Hong Kong, and I continue to support the community today. Last year I signed the Hong Kong Pledge, and at the General Election Candidates Forum, I reaffirmed my support for Hong Kongers in the UK, and for democracy and self-determination for Hong Kong and Taiwan. As a councillor, I'll keep doing what I can to support our Hong Kong community, and I hope that you will feel free to come and ask us for help if you need anything in the future.
Hello there, I'm Councillor Louise Keane. I'm from Reading Borough Council, and I'm one of a number of councillors from Reading Council who have come here today, and we thank you very much indeed for inviting us to be here and to speak, and for sharing this day with you. I remember I was a child 36 years ago watching the Tiananmen Square massacre on television, horrified, really truly horrified. It was the first news event, I believe, that really captured my attention, and I was truly, remarkably taken aback by how governments could behave towards their own citizens. It was horrifying. I don't use that term so loosely. Since then, what do we see on the news every single day? Governments across the world. How can they treat citizens so badly? Their own citizens of their own countries, people who genuinely just want to go about their days, be able to work peacefully, live in our communities, everything, raise families, just get on with life. All those people did, many students, all they did was campaign for democracy and fight for democracy, and their lives were just taken from them. And we know that the atrocities by China continue today. The national security law that has resulted in such oppression in Hong Kong and has brought many of you to us, like with our colleagues here. We welcome you to our communities, and we're very grateful that you have your centre in Reading, and you invited us to your opening, and you made us all very welcome, and I hope you feel that we've welcomed you into our community. The whole world knows what's going on in China. Every institution, every government, the European Union, the United Nations, all seemingly impotent against continued oppression, imprisonment, the shocking oppression of women and women's rights, oppression of people being able to access education, and so on and so forth. But it seems, we benefit, don't we? We've got all our cheap goods. We don't care about the pollution as we fight for net zero. It just goes on and on and on. And it's very sad. But I also want to speak about hope, because there's always hope, isn't there? Otherwise we wouldn't be here today. And we bring every single one of you that here, we're here because we care. And that's really, really important, the fact that we remember these things, and we continue to remember, and we want to hold events here. And I truly believe that in our communities, wherever you go, we should spread love, peace, friendship and kindness. And that's all I think we really need. And we can do that in very small ways. Welcoming friends, our neighbours, saying a friendly hello to anyone, helping somebody who's a bit down on their luck. They need a bit of help with food or the bills or something. I believe that's what we in Reading do best, actually. We look after the most poorest and vulnerable, look out for each other. We also have lots of fun and lots of good things that happen here as well. So thank you all for letting me speak today. Let's keep going. And as I said, love, peace, friendship and kindness. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Helen and I'm here from the Reading Amnesty International group. And thank you so much for inviting me to speak today as we remember the 36th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. It's been my honour to work alongside Reading Stands with Hong Kong for nearly 2 years now, as we all call for human rights and democracy to be re-established in Hong Kong. We all want to live without fear, knowing our right to speak up is protected. Hong Kongers, we know you want this too, wherever you live. But right now, Hong Kongers are facing repression by Hong Kong and Chinese authorities, even if you live here in the UK. Freedom of expression is vital for a fair and a free society. But right now, people in Hong Kong, and even those who've migrated to the UK, are facing an increased crackdown on rights to freedom of expression. Since 2003, the Hong Kong government has put £100,000 worth of bounties over the heads of 19 overseas activists. In 2024, a manager of Hong Kong's trade office in London and a former UK border officer was charged with unlawfully spying on Hong Kong activists. These incidents show that the crackdown against Hong Kongers inside the UK is very real and puts their human rights at risk. We are very concerned about these examples of transnational repression. The UK is the home to the largest Hong Kong diaspora community and an important base for activism. It's time to come together to demand that the UK government act now to protect Hong Kongers in the UK. Last year, if I was here, we had a petition calling for the release of political prisoners, particularly Jimmy Lai and Ho Chang-tong. We took that and we handed it in to 10 Downing Street in January this year. We got over 1,000 signatures, so thank you if you were part of that. We continue to take action. We've got some information over there. There's an online petition for Cho Hong Tung, which you can sign up to. And if you want information about what Amnesty is doing to support freedoms for Hong Kongers, there's some information that we can give you to take away today. But yeah, thank you very much.